Hey kids, this is chapter 24 from the Oddmire book 1, The Changeling. The only sound within the twins' thorny prison was the scratch of a matchstick alongside its box. Then silence, darkness, another scratch. For a brief moment, the flash of spark lit up Tin's shaking hands. He nearly dropped the matchbox. It was soaked through from his tumble into the mire, but if only he could coax it to light. Scratch, scratch, scratch. At last, a sputtering flame flared up. Almost at once, it faded to nearly nothing, but Tin cupped his hand around it and held the weak, stuttering light perfectly still. He held his breath. After several seconds. The tiny fire grew by a fraction and began to crawl grudgingly up the matchstick. He rattled the little box over his other hand. 3 left. Good job, said Cole. Hey, over here. I think I see a path. Are you sure? Tin strained his eyes. An almost perfect dome of vines surrounded them now, so the meager matchlight glistened off the sharp thorns in every direction. The path beyond Cole was the only opening. It's either go this way or stay here until we run out of matches, Cole said. It's okay, I'll go first. Hold the light up over my shoulder. The boys crept deeper into the bramble, their backs hunched under the canopy of vines. Cole led slowly, testing each cautious step before moving forward. The tunnel twisted and curved, so it was never possible to see more than a few feet ahead or behind. Tin kept close, holding the light as high as he could. The fire burned his fingers before he finally let the match fall, dwindle to twisted ash on the forest floor. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The next match lit on the 3rd strike, and the boys pressed forward again. The bramble grew denser. It was not long before Cole had dropped to his knees to crawl under the shrinking tunnel. Tin lost his footing almost at once. The ground was unsteady through the narrow corridor covered in thick roots and pale branches. Tin's free hand darted out to catch his fall, and his hand landed directly on one of the wicked thorns, carving a deep gash across his palm. He hissed through his teeth, but managed to keep the match aloft until they were free from the bramble. There was nothing to be done. Tin had already seen Cole suffer from the same injury. Cole hadn't cried, so Tin would not cry. He would just focus on keeping his balance and ignore the pain until it dulled. Where do you think it leads? Tin whispered, trying hard to keep the flickering light above his brother. Out, grunted Cole, hoping that his voice sounded more optimistic than he felt. Cole's heart pounded heavily against his ribs. Each beat pulsed sharply in the cut of his own palm. The light bobbing over Cole's shoulder lit up the ground in uneven patches. The knobby, broken branches beneath his fingers felt cold and dry and wrong. Not like wood at all. Slowly, carefully, he picked one up. The branch was more than just pale. It was ivory white, and it wasn't a branch. Cole turned his face to Tin, and he swallowed. Is that a... Tin whispered. Cole nodded. Tin lowered the matchstick. As one, the boys looked down at the ground beneath them. Bones, large and small, broken and whole, some as long as the boys were tall, some no larger than a fingernail clipping. The ground was carpeted with bones of countless creatures, victims. A wave of cold swept through the black corridor. The match in Tin's hand flickered out. And that is the end of chapter 24. And this is what 25 looks like.